Hey, welcome back. It's time for the Real World of Sales as we take a look at some of the most really interesting people doing the most incredible things right here in our own backyard. How do they do it? How do they sell these services? Today, well, it's the end of the year. It's coming up on Christmas. What better than to have Santa himself here in the house, right, Ashley?
That's right. We have Santa Claus.
How are you guys?
Santa,
Great, Santa.
I have wanted to meet you in person forever here.
Well, I've been wanting
stayed
to
up
meet
so
you
many
again
ni-
for a long time. You've been on the naughty list for a few years now.
Oh, Santa,
I think
come
you
on.
got something in 2018 you got to clear up, and then you'll be good.
Then I'll be good for a while. All right, thank you, Santa. No, we're pleased. Yeah, we're playing with this. We're gonna have fun with this today. We got Kevin Scott. Is that your
Yes.
your regular name here?
Yes.
And you are part. There's an association of Santas out there. This is an organized group of you out there, and you work this field, and you have local chapters and everything. Tell us about this whole crazy thing here.
Well, it started about 25-ish years ago, I guess. There's a group of guys that were in a commercial in Hollywood. There's like 5 or 6 of them, and they got along real good. It was a bunch of them all in one commercial, and they got along real good, and they decided to get together every year right after Christmas and tell stories on how their seasons went and what have you, and it just snowballed from there.
So they're all Santas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and there's at least 4 large Santa groups in the country that I know of, and there's a lot of smaller groups too.
And this one is called what?
The one I belong to is called the International Brotherhood of Real Bearded Santa. We call it IBERBS for short. There's also the Fraternal Order of Real Bearded Santas, also here in Orange County. There's Santas for Hire. There's Nationwide Santas. There's just so many.
So how did you get started in this, Kevin?
Yeah, please.
Well, what happened was I was just freshly married. My youngest stepson came to me and says, "Kevin, you're fat." A short pause. A short pause. And he says, "And you're great with kids." He was volunteering time for the YMCA ARC program, which deals with foster children.
Okay.
He says, "Our Santa moved out of state. I'll buy you a suit if you'll try it." I figured, well, if you're going to buy a suit, might as well just do it instead of just try it once.
Yeah.
So I've been doing it ever since. So this is
Oh,
my
nice.
22nd season.
Did you grow your beard to look like Santa, or was it like that?
I've always had a long beard, but I had to bleach to get it to this
Oh, okay.
color. But nowadays it's coming out of my face this color. I just have to do a little root touch up.
And I was
every
saying,
now and
the audience doesn't see me, but I have a beard too, but nothing like this. And I always wondered, how could it really grow that long? I've never tried. Do you
It takes time.
I mean, was
You
it
should
just
try it,
years?
Paul.
Just see how long it'll grow here. Or
I can
something?
get you some gigs.
I may do it.
There's not enough of us to go around. There really
Really?
isn't.
And
I mean, you figure in the LA Orange County area, we got 10, 12 million or something like that. I don't remember exact numbers.
Yeah.
I didn't count
Wow.
them lately.
There's 3 in Orange County alone, 3 million.
Right. So I mean, with all those millions, and I in the local area, I know roughly 100 or so Santas personally. So
Wow. Oh my gosh.
there's plenty of work for all of us to go around.
And-
There's
and
no
what's-
reason to
What's the
consider
work like? What's
competition.
the gig like? What's the job like to be Santa? First of all, it's got to be the coolest job in the world because everybody smiles when
Yeah.
they see you.
Well, that's the whole goal of everything, is to put a smile on faces. If my bread and butter mostly has been corporate parties or home visits, and if I go in and I
Home
don't
visits,
put if
yeah.
I don't put smiles on faces, make them laugh, make them smile. You can't laugh without a smile.
Right.
So if I didn't get everybody in that room to smile at least once, I feel like I failed. So I pick on everybody equally. I've been asked to come into parties where they'll say the kids are over in that room. We're going to be over in this room having our little cocktail party and what have you. And I say, no, this is
Yeah.
everybody involved. I'm picking on everybody equally. I go up to
Nice.
little old ladies. They're not old ladies. They're young ladies to me, and they'll say, "I'm older than you." I said, "No, you're not. I'm 327 last week." I just pull a number out. I mean,
Right.
I said, "I'm older than you." You know.
So, but there are obviously lots of places. This is a job I never. I know people do it, but it never even occurred to me. How would you do it, or where would you do it, or why would you do it, or how would you do it? Every shopping center has a Santa. Every big retail stores used to have Santas, things. Corporate parties, private parties. What other kinds of things are there? Where do they need Santas? Parades?
You
or
do
something?
cameos too now, like online videos too.
I have not branched out into the online video world. I do some periodically, but they're mostly for family.
Oh, okay.
I just haven't. I don't got a good backdrop, and I like the interaction face to face.
And does it
and
pay?
getting a warm hug.
I mean, do you really get paid to do all this stuff here? I mean,
I
do you-
get paid to go to parties. What better job can you have?
I'm telling you.
Right.
People ask me if I decorate at all. I say I never decorate. I go visit
Really?
decorations.
Yeah, you don't have to put it up. You
I
are the
get-
party.
I go to people's parties.
So you
and
don't have a
visit them.
Santa at your house.
I have some Santa statues and stuff like that on our piano.
Uh-huh.
But it's not like I don't have a Christmas tree up. I don't have any of the other
Oh, really?
decorations. No, we just
And you live in the North Pole, right?
yes.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's hard to get stuff up to the North Pole.
You know, so just scale it down. Just take care of yourself. I don't need to look at stuff in my home when I can go to other homes to
How
see
many
even better.
professional Santas are there across the country? Let's just say in your organization, there's 3 or 4 organizations.
In the International Brotherhood, I believe we got about between 2,500 and 3,000 members right now.
All across the country.
All across the country
And
and
they're
international. We got people in
Wow.
in Great Britain. We got a few down in Australia. We got some in South America.
And are you in the local group, or do you run the local group? Are you the president of the local group,
Well,
or one of the office or
well,
founder?
in my local chapter, the SoCal Santas is what we're called on Facebook, and it's strictly for the Santas or people in the
Right.
industry. So people can't just come to our page and expect to be able to see and find a Santa. But I'm myself and my wife are the admins. We're loosey goosey. We don't pick officers or anything like that. I set up monthly events and we go to different restaurants and stuff like that around the county.
So what do
And you all show up as Santa,
We-
50
we-
Santas, 30 Santas.
We can have
Nice.
100 of us
100 of
sometimes, but
Wow.
we never really go like this. We go in civilian clothes, maybe a little reds, and we do have upper nice clothes, but we just go and get together and socialize so that if I get sick, I know who I'm asking to come in and help me out. I personally
Do you
know
all
the
kind
person.
of look alike as Santa?
Yeah, pretty much.
Hopefully.
We all have a white beard.
Is an
Oh,
image.
okay.
When did the image of
Nice.
Santa start? You were to give us the history of the Santa
Well-
Claus, Saint Nicholas.
I know the night before Christmas was written in the 1800s. Don't know exact date. I should really learn that, but it hasn't been a need to.
Right.
But Thomas Nast drew a picture of what he felt Santa should look like, and that's kind of what we've molded our image to.
The jolly man.
The jolly man with a big beard, and
Right.
What are some things that like kids tell you they want for Christmas?
I've had a little bit of everything asked for.
Really?
Yeah, I even had a 9-year-old kid come up and ask for a box of condoms.
Oh my God.
I know his daddy put him up to it,
Oh my
but this
God.
9-year-old kid came up and asked for a box of condoms.
Oh my
And
goodness.
I thought that was crazy. I said, yeah.
We'll think about that one.
I looked at him straight in the face. I said, what size? And so, of course, he had nothing to say to that.
What? Somebody tweeted in a question already here. Santa Senate wants to know. Maybe this is a more serious question. How do you get vetted? You're around kids. We were worried today about having anybody around kids that isn't checked out or verified.
Well, I do get
Soccer
background.
coaches,
I
yeah.
do get background checked annually. I get. I have a $4 million insurance policy for any time that I'm performing as Santa,
Yeah.
because you just never know.
You
People
never
are
know.
so happy.
Yeah.
I could be having an event in a restaurant. Let's say, let's say we're doing it at a buffet or something, and kids are going up and getting soup, and they come running up to me to get my attention, and they spill their soup on Mrs. Jones or whatever her
Yeah,
name might be.
right. It's your fault.
She's going to sue me. She's going to sue the store. She's going to sue everybody.
Right.
So I carry a large insurance policy to
So
make
there
sure.
is some seriousness to this. You
Absolutely.
can't just throw a suit on them.
And we have schools. There's Santa schools around the country.
Santa
Yes,
school,
Wow.
There-
like clown schools. They always tell me they're really.
there
clown
is.
schools,
There is
right?
schools. There's some that are stationary, like the oh gosh, I can't remember the acronym. Doggone but it's C.W. Howard. He was a Santa back in late 1800s, early 1900s, I think. And he started
Wow.
a school. It's back in New York, I believe. But that's stationary. And then there's another one in Denver that's stationary. But then there is a couple others that roam around the country.
What do they teach you? What do you have to learn to be Santa?
Well, just how to be a good person for one. But I mean,
Can't be nasty, bad Santa like the movies or something.
right. Yeah, I've been asked to do that, and I refuse. But
okay.
what we teach each other or learn is how to deal with anything that comes our way. Autism is a big one. I mean, a lot of autistic kids, they just fall into themselves and they don't communicate very well.
Right.
But when they see me, sometimes it just comes. They come right out.
Something
and
comes out.
They open up to you. But they teach us that. I've learned some sign language so I can converse in sign language to somebody who comes up to me. It's deaf. All I got to do is have the
Wow.
universal "I love you," and
Oh,
that's enough most of the time. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't sit there and rattle off. I could do the ABCs, but it takes me forever to spell, and I forget where I was when I was in the Word. So I just tell them I love them, give them a hug.
Do you ever go to hospitals and stuff? You see
I
sick
have,
kids
but they're
and-
hard to get into. You got to set things up for a long time ahead. And I love doing hospitals because, and I've tried to get to where I could walk into any hospital I want to, or even a specific hospital anytime that I'm available. Is
Right.
what I want.
Right.
It's just like free access.
Right.
But it's so hard. It's just
I'm thinking of Children's Hospital and those
It-
kinds of places.
Children's Hospital,
in
in
North
any
County.
hospital where they got NICUs. You know, I went to UCI one time, and I tried to get in just because me and my son were out delivering something for the local
Yeah, stop by Brighton.
local
the day.
what was it, was it jail for the kids?
Oh
whatever
yeah, the
that's called.
Theo.
Yeah, Theo Lacey. That's
right.
where it was. So we dropped off a bunch of stuff, and we weren't invited in to hand them out. Okay, fine. We're dressed up. So we decided to go next door to the hospital, and they wouldn't allow us in because,
Who are you?
yeah, who are you? Why are you here?
Right.
So
even
some-
though you're Santa, they
yeah,
show.
even though I was
'cause
fully
they're
dressed and
worried
he
they're-
was dressed as an elf, you know, they got
Oh,
anybody
nice.
could put a suit on and come in and say I'm this and that, and they
Exactly.
can come in and do damage.
So do you have a Santa
Wow.
ID? Do you something that shows you're part of an association? You're
No,
you're
not
verified.
really, but I do have a card in my wallet so that when kids come to me and their push comes to shove and they don't think I'm real and what have you, I pull that card out, you know, because they most of the time they want to see reindeer right now.
yeah.
Oh, the Rudolph.
Yeah,
Right.
they want to see the reindeer right now. And
Right.
that could be the 1st of December. And I just tell them flat out, the reindeer have the best union in the whole wide world. They fly one day a year except for practice flights. If I bring them down early, they're not coming back down.
Yeah.
That's in their contract, and I gotta abide by
Yeah.
that.
Right.
You got
So-
an answer for everything. You
You,
got to.
you got to be fast on your feet. You got to have a good sense of humor, and you know.
So
I
is
can do
Christmas
both.
like your favorite holiday? Has it always been?
It'd be horrible if he says no.
it originally it wasn't, believe it or not. It used to be a bah humbug for me, and
Oh.
then I got the bug once I started entertaining kids and stuff, like making families happy, the kids happy. I got the bug, and I got over that. My other favorite holiday, of course, is Halloween.
Nice. You dress up for that for Halloween
I
as
do.
Santa or something else?
I have several times.
Okay.
I'll buy bags or boxes of candy canes after the Christmas season at
Nice.
25, 30 cents a box.
There you go.
And I'll stockpile them because they stay good.
Yeah.
And after I have too many, if I can't be giving them out during Christmas time, guess what? I'm giving out candy canes at Halloween. I'm standing there as Santa giving out candy canes, and the
Oh,
kids
that's
love
awesome.
it. The kids love it.
How bad?
Yeah, for sure. So you do Santa all year round, or is it?
I will do it anytime
December?
they need me.
Uh-huh.
Because of the nature of the military, they could be deployed during Christmas time. So when they come home, if the family wants to have a Santa, hey, let me know and I'll work them a deal. You know, I'm an ex-veteran as well, or I am a veteran. It's not ex-veterans. You're never
Oh,
an
it's a veteran.
ex-veteran.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm a veteran and I take care of other veterans.
What branch did you serve in?
U.S. Navy.
So when you're on some ship, did you ever picture someday that you were going to be Santa Claus?
Not at all. Not at all. Like I said, I used to be bah humbug. I didn't care about Christmas. I didn't buy anybody anything. I didn't care if I got anything myself. I still don't get much. It's fine. I just
You
Really?
don't buy Santa gifts, that right? What could you get Santa? He makes everything.
Mrs. Claus, maybe, right?
Well, Mrs. Claus, I'll get her something, but I won't go out of my way to do a whole lot. I mean, we're okay, and if we want something, we just go buy it.
So what does your family think about? You say your son sometimes goes with you as an elf.
My son who helped get me started, he's been my main elf, and he only does the charity work.
Yeah.
So if there's a charity, he brings his wife, his stepkids, and it's a big family ordeal. They keep the line moving. They keep the kids' fingers and stuff clean when they're coming up to me.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I do a lot of gigs. I might be doing 4 gigs in a day, and I can't have
Wow.
time to change and put something fresh on. So, I need their sticky fingers gone.
So was
I
there-
always wear gloves, and I always put a fresh pair of gloves when I go into another
Okay.
event.
Is there a
Nice.
Santa in the family? Is this going to get passed down? Or I bet sometimes people do this, like circus clowns. You know, it might-
I know several that are that way, that their father or grandfather was a Santa, and then they picked it up. I have friends that have been doing it for 45 years or so. I've been doing it for 22. And I'm older than the guy who says he's been doing it for 45 years.
So tell us some stories. We all want to hear stories. Crazy story. You told us the story of the kid. Crazy stories, funny stories, heartwarming stories, whatever. My daughter was a big believer, as I said, in Santa.
Well,
Way
she's
too
a
long.
smart kid. She's a smart kid.
Way too long. We finally had to break it to her. She just bought into this thing wholeheartedly.
Do you have any adults that believe in Santa? still?
Absolutely,
Oh,
absolutely.
I do.
Really?
You know,
Nice.
it's in the heart. Santa's in the heart. It's not a
Yeah.
physical person per se. We all are Santa performers, impersonators, or whatever we want to call ourselves. But in the 22 years that I've been doing this, I've never once said, I am Santa Claus to a single child. I let them make up their decision.
Yeah.
I get them coming
Okay.
to me all the time saying, I don't think you're real. Okay,
Really?
challenge time. Shake my hand. Does that feel real? Yes. Pull my beard. Does that feel real? Yes. Poke me in the belly. Does that feel real? Yes. Well, am I real? I never said, am I the real Santa? I said, am I real? Yes. Okay. I let them make up their minds. They're humans. They're allowed their opinions, whether it's right or wrong.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That sounds great. It's like the kids, I believed in Santa when I was a kid for a while, and then when my family told me that Santa wasn't real, and I was like so shocked. And I used to get gifts, and it was from Santa every Christmas, and that would be like my favorite gift. So
My-
I think the spirit of Santa is just so much fun, and it's like so happy.
My parents never told me.
Did they?
Really.
No.
I told you all this story beforehand. I have one daughter. She just kept. Most kids kind of figure it out about 6, 7, 8, or somewhere in there, and our daughter just kept buying into this thing. At least she appeared to. She's now like 8, 9, 10, and that stuff. And I think, this is embarrassing. I got to tell her someday. So I told her we were going to rig a secret camera and I could take a picture of Santa when she went to bed. And
Oh,
it was
no.
me. She cried so bad.
Poor
I
Santa.
think, yeah, she just really. I burst that bubble. I kind of knew, she said, but I didn't want to believe it. I really wanted. I think people want to believe in Santa.
Yeah, I think it gives you hope for
Yeah.
this season, just in general.
Yeah,
A
there's-
fun thing to do is, I've done several of them called Caught in the Act, where
What's that?
I'm putting presents under the tree, and the kid might be at the top of the stairs looking down, catches me doing it. I
Ah.
look up and say,
Oh,
and I
Oh,
off.
that's so
make
fun.
a hasty
Oh,
retreat.
that would be great.
So
That'd be great.
it's awesome. It's fun to do. I'm also an avid platelet donor. I donate platelets every 2 weeks. Been doing that for a long
Wow.
time
Good
to
for
save
you.
lives.
Mhm.
So I highly
Nice.
recommend everybody get out there and give them the arm.
How do you do it? Where do you go?
I go to the Santa Ana Center and I just sit there and watch a movie while they stick a needle in my arm and take blood and centrifuge it and send it back to me. But
Nice.
it's-
That's great.
it's-
So
it's a great
can you
thing.
imagine getting Santa Claus's blood?
Oh my
That is
god,
so cool.
magical blood.
well, the thing is,
Yeah.
I've been donating it for so long. I did an event in Santa Ana years ago that I don't remember. It was the day before Christmas. Might have been the day before that. I don't know. It was near Christmas. But anyway, I get there. Little girl had been in the hospital more the year before than she was out. So I mean,
Oh.
she might have been out of the hospital for less than 50 days total. So found out she had some kind of leukemia, and she was getting platelets constantly. And I asked what blood type she was, and it turns out it was the same blood type that I
Wow.
have.
Oh, that's great.
So in my heart, I know because of how many donations I had made that she had to got some of my platelets at some point. She just had to. The odds are too high.
Wow.
So that solidified it for why I need to do it. And her
Nice.
older sister donated some bone marrow to help save her life, and she's doing great today.
Wow,
But
that's
you know,
fantastic.
it's an important thing. I mean,
It sounds
whole
like
blood is great, but
Uh-huh.
platelets is better.
I see. It sounds like you're just really into giving and helping people as Santa Claus, as yourself, overall.
I've learned to come around to it. I mean, like I said before, I was a bah humbug kind of guy, and I was all about just me, 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 me. And now I love to give my time when I can. I do make great money, but it's not totally needed and not necessary. I mean, I like to make the money, but I'm my own boss. I can set my own rate. If I want to do it as a charity, I call it a charity. My wife will go at that point. My son will go if he's available in his family. But I set my rates. I don't let somebody else dictate what I want to make.
Is this your full-time
Yeah.
gig, or do you do?
Well,
other
I'm
things?
retired now,
Yeah.
and it is full time from 1st of November on. Basically, I start getting all bleached
Wow.
up and purdied up, and get
Nice.
your outfits all.
How many outfits do you have?
I think I've got 6 Santa suits.
Do they all look similar to what you have now?
There's some of them a little bit darker than others. There's a
Oh,
red,
okay.
there's burgundy,
Mhm.
there's fancy. I mean, you can go get a $25 suit and do a good job, or you can get a $10,000 suit, do a good job, do the same job.
Somebody wants to know, we live
Yeah.
in such a multi-ethnic world these days here. Is Santa a universal appeal? If you see Vietnamese kids, you see Chinese kids,
Yes.
you see kids from Africa. Where, I mean, you look around in Orange County, there's 100 different nationalities. Do people all respond the same way to Santa?
Most of them do, yes. And, for the most part, if they're in a Christian religion, they're on board.
Yeah, Saint
If
Nicholas.
they're in a Muslim religions, they may not be on board, but they don't disrespect me. I give them the respect that they deserve, so they give it back to me
Yeah.
as well. I have done Armenian families on New Year's Eve. It's all good. Anybody that wants me,
Yeah.
I'll come.
I don't know around the world if it's a universal image. If they have, I don't think they have Santa come to in China or Africa or Central Asia or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
I
I
know it's a
have
European thing,
friends.
right.
I have friends that he's since passed away, but he was
Oh, sorry about that.
he was a Santa in Shanghai, I believe, every year for like 4 or 5 years.
Was he Chinese or
No,
Caucasian?
he's a Caucasian. He's somebody I've worked with in a couple other companies before we even became Santa. So I've known him for 40 some
Wow.
years, but he just recently passed away. Yeah, we all live to die, so it doesn't.
So you
doesn't
fly
shock
to
me.
other places too to be Santa?
I have.
Well, you got a set of reindeer. You can go around the world anywhere you want to
Yeah,
go.
Rudolph
Right.
does, right?
Well,
Rudolph goes everywhere.
I don't take events or gigs in other places because I've got so many that I do annually here that I would have to say, hey, find somebody else, and
Nice.
they might find somebody they like better, and I
Yeah.
couldn't do that.
I see.
So you
That's
got
great.
return gigs. You got people
Exactly.
over and over and
You know,
over
I,
again.
I have one family that I've been doing for Christmas Eve for the last I want to say 12 to 15 years. I've watched
Wow.
little ones grow up to big ones, and the bigger
Oh my
ones grow into
gosh.
adults and have babies. And now they're bringing their I mean, it's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah,
So that's
but-
nice. You build those relationships. And how do you promote yourself as a Santa Claus?
Most of it's word of mouth for me. My license plate says Santa Kevin.
Oh, nice.
There's
Okay.
there's
Cool, cool.
on the license plate holder it tells my website so they can find me
Oh,
that
okay.
way.
Hmm.
Just going out and about in different versions of Santa through the year. I'll wear. I have a T-shirt that says North Pole 25 on it, and I'll wear red shorts, and I'll go out and I'll put on a hat that says
Anything to
Santa.
get people to
Okay.
ask,
Just,
what the heck
just
is that?
yeah. And
Start a
and they
conversation.
see that I'm good with their kids. They'll ask if I'm for hire. I'll give them one of my business cards, and then I have some cards that are
Nice.
just for the children too. That doesn't have any contact information at all.
Oh, it's like a
Yeah,
Santa
I
Claus
caught
card.
Santa. I found Santa. Whatever.
Oh,
But
that's so
I just
fun.
tell them Santa loves you. Always try to keep your room clean and blah
That's
blah.
great. You're really
A bunch of
inspiring
things.
people.
Right. But I mean, any smart Santa is not going to put his contact information, especially a phone number, on a card that a kid can get a hold of
No.
and call you at
Yeah.
3 a.m.
Like
It
Santa,
happens.
Santa, I want a new car. Santa, I want a bike.
I had an adult want to go to blows one time at a restaurant. Me and my wife, if we're out doing our Santa work, we get hungry. We go into restaurants fully
Sure.
dressed, no problem. I'll walk the room and say hi to all the kids, then I'll go sit down, take off my coat, have
Oh,
a
that's
meal.
awesome.
Put a big bib on so I don't get dirty, and then we'll walk the room again when we leave. But this one man, he came up to me. He was adamant he wanted a new car. I don't remember what kind he was asking for, and I said, "Would you like Hot Wheels or Matchbox?"
Yeah.
That's my standard reply. Hot Wheels or Matchbox.
Yeah.
If you're really good, I can go to a Tonka truck. And he was mad. He was going to hit me. Oh, I want a real car.
Oh
Well,
my
those are
gosh.
real. I can push them across the floor.
Yeah.
They got 4 wheels.
Yeah.
But I said,
Right,
and then my
right.
wife had to tell him, look, he's a toy maker. Remember? And the guy backed down.
There you go.
He's like, Santa, I want a Porsche.
Pretty much.
Oh my gosh. And so he like believed in Santa too. That's interesting.
Well, I mean, I have little old ladies that believe in me. It's all good.
Yeah.
Whatever makes them happy, I'm happy to do.
Don't you
know?
believe, Ashley? Come on.
I believe in Santa, but different than when I was a kid. Like I don't believe the gifts are from Santa anymore. But like I believe in the spirit of Santa. I think it's always fun and so like positive, and it's just encouraging. Like even if I'm like walking at the mall and I see Santa, like I've had Santa wave at me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like I feel like wow, that is so fun.
Because he knows you.
Yeah, I said, hey, how you been?
Yeah,
I-
he knows me, right? What I've been doing.
I like walking into places. I have hearing aids that tie into my phone.
Oh,
And I
cool.
can have somebody over in the corner feeding me information. I can walk up to you, never met you before in my life, and call you by name.
Oh, that would be
Give
Oh
your
my
address
gosh.
if necessary. All these different things.
tricks.
Wow.
Do
Tricks
little
of the
tricks.
trick.
And if you got the right person on the other end, it's perfect because you got to be right in front of the
That is
person
so
you're
cool.
talking to.
Oh my
I
gosh.
had one instance where I stopped doing it for a while because this guy, I said, here's what I need you to do, and spelled it out how I wanted him to do it.
Mhm.
I'm 15 feet away from a group of people. That one's so and so, that one there so and so, and that one there so and so, and I don't see
Wow.
where you're pointing.
Yeah,
I
right.
just that one, that one, that one. It's like, okay, this isn't working. He's not understanding what I was asking.
Miracle.
I didn't know that they had
what's,
those.
What's that movie from the 40s that they bring out?
Miracle on 34th Street.
Miracle on 34th Street. Yeah.
Great movie.
Great movie. I
They
watched it
they just
every year.
Christmas
reinterred
movies are the
him.
best.
He was lost for years in some vault.
Oh.
Yeah, they they had him cremated. Edwin Gwynn.
Edwin Gwynn. That's
And
right.
he had been cremated and he was in some vault someplace. They had lost track of him and they recently found him.
Wow. Oh my
And the
gosh.
family wanted him moved to the Hollywood
Forest-
celebrity
Forest Lawn or
yeah,
something.
Yeah, the Hollywood celebrity version, whatever they call it over there. I don't remember. But they just interned him this last Saturday.
How about
Wow. Oh
that?
my gosh.
Well, that was the one I grew up. I'm of that age. I watched those black and white movies.
seen
I,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
watched
that's
that
fine.
about once every other year, basically.
Yeah.
It's a
With
Wonderful
little,
Life,
with
White
a little,
Christmas.
Yeah, with a little Natalie Wood in the.
Yeah, I mean, I got to
Mm-hmm.
stay on top of a lot of things so that if a kid asks me something, I can come back to it. I can recall it. Like I got to watch cartoons too as
Oh my
homework.
gosh.
Well, now
I got to
there's,
watch homework.
now
So,
there's the Grinch, there's the and Bad Santa and other things.
well,
There's-
yeah, but I mean, like, kids' favorite thing is Paw Patrol.
New toys
So
coming
I,
out.
I got to be able to pull a character name out of the air. So I just ask them who their favorite is. Chase? Are you kidding? Mine too. You know,
Exactly.
whatever it is,
Wow.
and just same thing with when they ask me what cookies I want for Christmas Eve. Well, what's
Oh,
your
that's
favorite?
nice.
What's your favorite cookie?
Turn it around. Yeah.
Mine
Okay.
too. You know, that way, you know, I just throw it back on them. A little reverse psychology where you can.
Well, Santa, it's been a
Nice. That's
treat
awesome.
to have you here, to finally meet you in
We're
person.
lucky, for sure.
All the years I waited under the tree to try and catch a glimpse of Santa, and now
I'm
it's this-
sneaky that way.
you are, and at this old age, you snuck in here, and I get to meet Santa finally in person. What a cool gig to do, and what an amazing, opportunity. You must meet. You're doing something that's fun and puts a smile on people's face all
Well,
the
yeah,
time.
and
Yeah.
I just never know where I'm going to go. One year, several years ago, I'm up in the Hollywood Hills and I'm looking at this guy. He looks familiar. He looks familiar, but I can't. Everybody's just calling him Grandpa or Dad, and it turned out it was Gary Marshall.
Oh
There
my
you
gosh.
go.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, you just
Laverne and
never.
Shirley and,
I've
Happy
run
Days.
I've run into so many celebrities in my travels. It's they're just people
That's
too.
awesome.
Yeah.
They're just people
Yeah.
too. They may have somebody hold their pants to get them on, but hey, I'll get there someday.
And you are a celebrity to them
Yes, right.
because you're Santa.
Yes.
Well,
Special.
thank you, Kevin, for coming in. How do they reach you if they want to find if they want to use you and
Well-
bring real Santa into the world here?
They can find me at my website santa-kevin.com. This year I'm kind of my season is full. It's the quickest I've ever filled it up. 90% of my gigs this year happen to be corporate gigs, which
Okay.
is 2 and 3 and 5 hours long.
Wow.
So
And you go into some big company and
Yeah.
and pass out stuff and
pass out stuff, help them with a raffle, just go around, just do candid photo shots, whatever they want, whatever they need. If they want
That's
me
nice
to sit in one
companies are doing
place,
that.
if they want me to sit in one place for the kids to come to me, that's fine too. Whatever it takes.
Yeah, right.
But-
Well, that'd be a great thing. Every company should do that. Then they
Yeah.
could bring their employees in
Well-
and part of the party, pass out gifts, and
Yeah.
then you could bring your kids along to work and they
Yeah,
could
this
meet Santa.
this is the
That'd be
first
nice.
year that I've gotten booked so early and with
Okay.
so many big gigs.
Wow,
mean-
that's great. Good for you.
I think I'm ready to.
I
be a
like
Santa.
my home visits better because I'm making small people happy.
Yeah.
You know, there's
Aw,
there's
that's
gonna be a lot of
awesome.
small people and stuff like that coming to the corporate parties too, but
Mm-hmm.
I like the personal up close. Spend a
Yeah,
half
it's
an
different.
hour or an hour with the family and have fun and sing some songs, read them a story,
Nice.
and then
Can you sing a song for us real quick?
oh no, oh no, I don't sing.
He's not a
I
singing Santa.
get them started and then I let them carry on and I just lead them along.
All right, last.
I'm not a singer.
Last thought. What do you want to pass on to the world here? What from Santa to the world here? This year the world's very troubled again here. Lots of chaos and division and fights around the world, and it's the one time of the world that everything slows down and we all think of each other here. So
Well, I just want us all to get along. One way or another, black, white, green or red,
yeah,
blue or red, as far as politics, just get along.
yeah.
Yeah.
Elections are
True.
there for a reason. If they don't go your way, there's always the next time. No reason to get all upset about things.
I got to do a shout out to my
Right.
late father who left this earth 10 years ago in his 90s. And
Aw.
he used to say, my dad was a big corporate executive, busy guy, didn't have a lot of time to do the typical throwing a ball stuff. He was working hard, got up early, came home late, traveled quite often. But I knew he loved me and he was always there. And the one time I appreciated and he appreciated was Christmas. It was the only time he'd come home early.
Yeah. It's
He-
special
He
holiday.
would take off, and I grew up in the Midwest, and it's snowing, and my dad would always
Yeah.
take me out about midnight, and we'd stand out in the snow, and he'd say, "You hear that?" And every year I'd say, "Dad, I don't hear anything." He said, "Exactly. It's the one year the world would slow down, and in those days the stores would close, the streets, everybody's home, pretty much. There's not too many people out driving. I mean, there's always some people, but." by and large, the world slowed down for an hour and took its breath and was home with everybody. I'll never forget that image of my dad just
Yeah,
being
that's
home
wonderful.
on Christmas Eve or Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I think. It's just a time for people to just be there for each other, and to just encourage each other, help each other.
Slow down.
Santa Claus, brings joy to everybody's life for at least 1 month. Yeah, just slow down. So,
If not even for a day, for a moment, for an hour. Thank you, Santa, for making our day, putting
Merry
a smile on our
Christmas,
face.
Santa.
Merry Christmas to everybody out there, and say ho 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 ho!
Ho, ho, ho.
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Well, there you have it. If that doesn't put a smile on your face, I don't know what will. From our family to yours, happy holidays. Here at OC Talk Radio, Orange County's only community radio station, streaming live from our studios here at the University of California, Irvine's Beale Applied Innovation Center.